Alright everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of the brand new playlist, Caleb's Mathmania Videos. Accompanied by me, Caleb. Now, this is going to be the new episode, What Are Shapes Part 2. So, we're going to be talking about a lot of shapes. Now, I know I'm going into this lesson very quick, but this lesson is actually going to be a little faster than last one. Because last time went a lot in depth. But the thing is, I have so much shapes to discuss that I'm actually going to divide this into 2 more parts. So you guys probably were thinking that there were 2 parts, but I actually changed my mind. There's actually going to be 3 parts. What are shapes part 1, what are shapes part 2, and what are shapes part 3. So this is what are shapes part 2. So we are going to be talking about 3 shapes. We're going to be talking about the square, the pentagon, and the hexagon. Okay? We're going to be wondering about how many vertices and how many sides and how many angles they have. So let's start with the square. So everybody knows what a square is. So here's a picture of a square. I know that it has an indent of a triangle, so let me draw a new picture of a square. This right here is a square. So, this is what a square is and what a square looks like. But we still have more questions. We need to know how many vertices it has, how many angles, and how many sides it has. Well, we are going to find those answers to the questions right now. So, first, we're going to figure out how many sides a square has. So, but before I do that, the square, since the square is a polygon, but the square actually falls under a very specific type of polygon. It's called a quadrilateral. A quadrilateral, just to let you know, is a shape that has 4 sides. So now we just found out that the square, since it's quadrilateral, it has 4 sides. So let's make sure and count. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it has 4 sides. Great. And now we're going to find out how many angles and vertices it has. So remember what vertices are, right? Okay, so let's find out how many vertices this thing has. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we know the square has 4 sides and 4 vertices. But what about angles? How many angles does a square have? Well, let's find out. So let's count. I'm going to scoot up because the lights is going on to me and it's making me look weird, so I'm going to try my best to stay away from the lights. Okay, so let's count how many angles this thing has. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, what have we learned about squares? So, this is going to be a little discussion with the audience, with whoever's watching this video. So let's just recap. So, how many sides does a square have? 4 sides, correct. And how many vertices does it have? 4, correct. You're spot on. And what about angles? How many angles does a square have? Correct, it has 4 too. So you see a pattern? So just like the triangle had 3 sides, 3 vertices, and 3 angles. The square has 4 angles, 4 sides, and 4 vertices. So that is what a square looks like. What it is, and how many vertices, angles, and sides it has. Now, but we've still got 2 more shapes that we're going to be discussing today. So allow me to get the next shape ready. So this shape. So we've discussed about a shape that has 3 sides in the previous video, and a shape that we just recently did that has 4 sides. So what about a shape that has 5 sides? Well, there just happens to be a shape, or specifically a polygon, that has 4 sides. It looks like this. Now, this may look like a house, but this is a special kind of shape that has 5 sides. Its name is none other than a pentagon. Now a pentagon has 5 sides. But we still need to know, so now we know what a pentagon looks like and what it is, and how many sides it has. But how many vertices and how many angles does a pentagon have? So let's find out. First, we'll do the vertices. So we've got 1 vertice, 2 vertices, 3 vertices, 4 vertices, and 5 vertices. So we know that a pentagon has a total of 5 sides. But first, let's make sure that it's 5 sides. Let's just count real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we know the pentagon has 5 sides and 5 vertices. But here's the question. How many angles does a pentagon have? Well, let's find out and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. A pentagon has 5 angles. Will you look at that? We've got 5 angles. So, we realize that a pentagon has a pattern too, just like the square and triangle. Pentagon has 5 angles, 5 sides, and 5 vertices. Great! So now we've just discussed the pentagon and what it is, and what it looks like, and how many vertices, angles, and sides it has. So now we're going to be talking about one last shape for this part. So we have found what a shape that has 4 sides and a shape that has 5 sides. But here's the thing. What about a shape that has 6 sides? Well, there's also a 6-sided shape too. It's called a hexagon. A hexagon is a 6-sided shape. So, let's find out exactly how many sides. We know there's 5. So we know there's how many sides, angles, and vertices there are. So, we know there's 5 sides, but let's make sure that we know what we're talking about. So, we've got 1 side, 2 sides, 3 sides, 4 sides, 5 sides, and 6 sides. So we know that a hexagon has 6 sides. But how many angles and vertices does it have? Well, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we know that a pentagon has 5 vertices and 5 sides. But what about the angles? How many angles does it have? Well, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So, we've just figured out about a hexagon, how a hexagon has 5 sides, 5 angles, and 5 vertices. So now we've learned all about a hexagon. So now, if someone asks you what a hexagon is, you'll know the answer. You'll know what a hexagon is, what it looks like, and how many vertices, angles, and sides it has too. So, that is going to be all the shapes that we are going to be talking about today. So, if you want to learn more about shapes, you should watch the next upcoming video, which will be called What Are Shapes Part 3. And we'll be talking about 2 specific shapes, and you are going to find those out in the next video. So I hope you enjoyed this What Are Shapes Part 2 video, and feel free to write in the comments below what you think about it, and feel free to subscribe. So I hope you are enjoying this brand new episode and this brand new episode of the new playlist called Caleb's Math Mania Videos. Have a great day.